Hello and welcome. It is Friday, 16th day of August 2019. My name is Derek and welcome to the Money Charts channel, where, like always, all bets, trades, and of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. There isn't really much for me to go over this within this. I'll put up the Fibonacci lines on the Coinbase exchange again in a little bit, but we're having test number 4 amongst this support level, a hair below 10,000. And it's at the lower end of the sideways range. So what it's doing is from this run in here, it's holding it at this level so far. So you have a big move. How are you going to react to it? It hasn't sold off, at least not yet, to any significant proportions. It's still en route to previous high of the 20,000 when we look at this on the 3-day time frame. At least this retracement from this high to this low. So therefore, from this low to this high, what are some of the key numbers? Well, we take high, which is near 14,000, and we divide it by the low, which is a little over 3,200, and we multiply it by, or excuse me, we put to the exponent of the key Fibonacci levels. And within such, what I've done, and I got 3,230 as the low and 13,880 as the high. The 76.4, which represents 23.6% on the way down, is 9,839. We've already had that number work, and it's the same key number from the Coinbase as far as a 61.8% correction from this high to this low. So it's supporting that, and we'll get to those Coinbase numbers in a bit, or where I've got them drawn in from there. But so it's retraced 23.6%. That's what the key level's doing. It's what it's supposed to do. Okay. And it's had multiple tests amongst this. This is test number 4, as I've been mentioning. So if it fails this level to the downside, well, if we've had a 23.6% correction, I'm going to be looking next at a 38.2, which represents 61.8 to the upside. So that's 7,953, and it usually goes a little extra, Pierce's extras, I like to call it. So breaking below 79.53 is where I would expect this to go if this thing breaks down below this level. And then breaking out above this high, well, we're talking about completing more towards a retracement towards the previous one in that of around 20K. And with the Coinbase levels in 98.1408, well, that just happens to coincide within this 98.39 so far. And its move breaking down below is, well, that's in at 63.41. So on the way there, that 8,000, which I've been talking about, if it breaks below here, that would be support that I would expect to find amongst this level. It's like a 50%, and it is, not just like it actually is a 50% retracement in the middle of this level. And when you get towards that point, people talk about it being a Fibonacci retracement. It really isn't. Although this is one of them. There are times where it's actually could be very important. If we have a failed breakdown below this level, which is what I want to talk about next, which means okay, we're breaking down 86.81. Okay, yep, we're going to 63.50. Yeah, that's unless we get a failed breakdown, and that's of course if we probably bottom somewhere around the low 8,000 level and then come back up to like 96, 98 fast, and then there's your failed breakdown. If, of course, that's what's going to happen. It may not even break down. I'm not trying to predict if it will or it won't. Rather, it's going to have to break it to one side or another, and thus break it to the upside. There's a little bit of resistance, not much, and at the 15,200 level, but getting out above in here, I'm looking more towards making it to previous high at the close to the 20,000 level on a break of the established resistance from June. And concluding within the monthly chart, just continuing this pause and holding in there, we can see two mass rallies to start from the bottom, and yeah, okay, three pretty decent ones, and Well, now the last two, it's been holding really an inside month last month, a continuation of the same inside month of this move in here. So this month and the previous one, the high has been lower than that of that 13,880, and its low has been higher than its low it had then of 7,433. Right now, I'm not going to spend much time with gold and silver, and unless it has a big day, I'm just going to briefly go over it on the weekend, and that'll be about it. But I'm showing a lot more of it because it's doing a lot more. Gold and silver has broken out past this level of resistance, has already made it. Check mark. Okay, now what? Because at this level of resistance, I don't know the answer to that now what question. On the daily time frame, it's just continuing to consolidate amongst this 1522 Fibonacci level. Looking at it on a 3 hour, there just nothing really much here to report other than it's just hanging in there, resisting but not breaking down from 15 and a quarter. Silver continued to hold and stay above the 18 average of highs here on the daily time frame at 17 and a quarter. And again, look, this month we're getting out above the 18 average of lows, or highs rather. Only the second time during this time from this high it's actually done that, with this failed breakout back in 2016, but it didn't have a failed move in the opposite direction, a big move rather in the opposite direction. So it's still having this long consolidation overall, even though it's getting above this high. It's got to get above this 21 level to really start to, okay, this thing is in major impact zone. Even though it would be well extended from the 18 average of highs and to be a good move, I'd be expecting resistance after a move towards this point. Now, of course, like always, if resistance or support is not found where you'd expect it to be, watch out. And you'd be expecting a good 50% plus move fast if we don't find resistance at around the 21. Although technically, I guess we could find resistance at 27, but we find probably that'd be where the fast move would go to, exactly as I'm trying to state, when you don't resist or support where you're supposed to. But for this whole between these two lines of 14.5 and 21, it has pretty much been stricken within this range-bound market since the summer of 2013. So it's been over 6 years now going in this sideways range. Okay, let's move on to some altcoins, but before and cryptos. But before we do that, let's first take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, which on the monthly chart shows it having a breakout up to this previous level in here. Weekly term time frame. This an inside week right now. As we're Friday, it's a good amount of periods into it. We'll go right to the daily. So we've had this high, still correcting within this. Nothing yet to break the dominance of the uptrend as of yet, as it has just been making a lot of these higher lows. So within Bitcoin dominance, this is generally met. Altcoins have been doing really bad since the April level when Bitcoin started dominating, as a lot of them are in sideways downwards movements against the dollar and most certainly getting destroyed against Bitcoin. In the last 40 days, what I have in here is how, or since July 7th, 100 hours, the prices, this is how well they're doing against both Bitcoin and against the dollar. We can see it's just a large bout of large red numbers. Bitcoin's down 11.5% against the dollar and at 10,160 area, where we have like Cosmos or Atom down 45% against the dollar, 38% against Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash 24% against the dollar. Dash is down 41. DGB 34. ETC 30. Gross Coin 42. Komodos lost half its value plus. Litecoin 38. Neo 42. Qtum and Sky have both lost half its value. T Fuel has lost 42. Theta's only lost 8, and it's up 3% against Bitcoin, which is interesting. I mean, a few other coins are also doing well, but of course, it's been very few. But obviously, this one is holding in there very well during these interesting times. Tron has lost half its value, close to Waves as well, and then over a third of its value for both Lumen and Ripple. So with coins like Ripple, from July the 7th, it's lost from here down to here at 2,500. A coin that was at 10,000, so it's lost three-quarters of its value. Stellar Lumen, from July the 7th up here at like 993. Well, yeah, it's lost a bit. We can see that third that it's lost, but Heck, it's lost a lot more from this multiple hit high at 46.80. Yeah, we're looking at about, well, 460 would be 10 times. So we're looking at about 7x move from just that high, and of course, even a bit more from this high at 57. And even from here, I guess it has lost 10 times from the 2018 high against Bitcoin, but obviously at lows not seen in quite some time, as it's been in a large, this case, been a big bear market since November of 2018. Komodo's lost half its value, as I mentioned, since July 7th, but of course it was up here at the rally point at 15. But it's lost a lot since in here, well, pretty much around a 10x move from its 2018 highs. Go chain at 115, well, it was like 800 here, and it was at 1100 here, so 10x from this high. But I want to now transition into the volatility, and Gold Chain and Theta are the two intraday ones that are really showing some interesting things. You really can't see too much of it in here. I mean, this here looks more volatile on July the 21st than it might have been. But let's just short out these time frames and look at it. We have the last three periods show interesting stuff with these lines that have pulled back in each time, but three good green candles in each one. 3 hour term, and there's a lot of this up and down volatility, but I still am going to need to short it out to show more for what I want to do, but amongst this time frame. When you look at a chart like anything that has this breakout, we can see how this was a major resistance level. So on any big corrections right now, this is the must hold. Now, if this goes up to like here, I would increase it maybe to around this level of resistance at around 110. But for now, on any corrections, this is the must hold. And if it doesn't, well, we're looking at a failed breakout right now. So it's either a failed breakout or a start of which should be even some higher gains there after the fact. But especially more, again, looking so at the one. We have this hour here at 1600 hours yesterday where it comes up to pretty close to where we are now, like 113 or 114. Ends up pulling back to about 100. So we're giving back more than 10%. Then even this period here, we can see a little bit of evidence of having a good move, going up to 114 and coming back to at least 105. So this little volatility in here. And now we just recently had this move that on a technical level, we can see all of these levels of resistance in here is being supported right now. Anyway, so let's take a look at this again on a more shorter term, 15-minute chart, so we can see more evidence to how these moves are working out. So there's the fat move in here, fast move back to the 18. Move in here, now it's to the highs, last time to the lows. Another decent sized move, and multiple hitting resistance, of course, at this one, really the 114 mark, which is exactly where it's supporting now. So a lot of these good volatile moves, and Theta is no exception for today, as its 15-minute time frame is just going wild right now on low volatility. And I say low volatility as in its moves in itself. These are only 5-6% pullbacks, but they're still 5-6% moves, and just wild buying and selling going on. The buyers are just not stopping, but neither the sellers either right now. Buyers they're pretty much in control, I would think, I guess, if I have to put anyone in such. But from this low in here, we have price action going from 1038 up to 1091, back down to about 1044, and then at 1:30 in the morning it goes up to close to 11. Pulls back, not too much, just to 1073 and then to 1092, but then a pull back to 1056 occurring at 5:30. And then at 7 o'clock, back up near close to this 1100 level. Pulls back at 745 to 1052. And here we go again. Test number 4 or 5 of this area. Because we got 1, 2, I don't know if I want to count this. That's why I say or 5. But all of this resistance, obviously on any break, that's what needs to be held to support. If it's gonna, and you would figure on any break of this, it's now gonna have a significant sized move. And finishing off with it, or continuing on within this on the hourly, from this decline in here. Okay, so there's filling some of this empty space from point low to point high. The attempt in reverting this trend back over again. And that's just even shows more of this established level of resistance here at this 11, this pull back in here, and then back, just very, very strong on how it's doing it right now. So it does seem to me as if it's poised and ready to. And the next move would be a fast move, at least to 1127. But does it break it? Well, let's just take a look at what the odds would be on the 3. And, well, maybe, but if it does break above this level, then I'm going to be. Well, let me just quickly do some fib numbers. 957 high and about 14 and a quarter on a low. So the key numbers 11, 11, 14, and 12 and a quarter. So you can see 1114 was the first level in which that it has been consolidating at. Okay, so Fibonacci's old bang, and it's just lucky that it just happened to work so well, barely piercing above. So therefore, I think if it breaks this, it'll just be lucky again. If price action breaks above a 1224, which would be where my next target would be, breaking out above here, 1224 would make a move up to this previous level of support from the July 31st and then the congestion area from August the 2nd. And just a lot of wild, wild volatility within these markets. As we can see in here, just from this high of like 4,000 down to below 1,000, or at 1,000 we'll call it, to like 36, back to a little over 1,000, 1,200, and then up to like 5,000, and what now it's been back down to 1,000. Just a whatever rallies along the way with this meh. So far meh again. It's got a long ways to go to get past because for this I'm going to be just looking at, well, where's the Fibonacci count? I got like 900 low change. So like 924 we'll do. And we'll do 5,000 even. Which would be 1761 followed by 2623, but before we get there, 1376. Which has. Well, let's put this 13. We've already did before. We've already hit that 1376. We hit it here. This was that point in there. So breaking this, and it was just luck that it pierced above it, because we can see that that was a 1390 high, a 1397 high, a high of 1424. So the fact that it just barely got above it like that, it was just luck. So we'll just be luck again if it barely gets above 1800 probably, which would be the next level again. So just 1800. And yeah, getting above 1800 is where I'd start to be like, okay, yeah, I'll get out of this whole meth thing, because everything below 1800 on the Satoshi crossing is in bearish territory. Everything below it's a bearish territory. It's got to get above that to attempt to move this retracement into a neutral perspective. And it would leave neutral breaking at above 2623, which would be this congestion area here. But for me, I'll continue ratio trading with a lot of these coins together, like the SkyGo. It was up to 116. It's now down to 66, so it's. I don't really. Nobody really cares. Probably I might be the only one that actually might be trading this actual exact cross. Maybe one of you. Maybe you guys. One of you guys might be out there too, or gals. But yeah, you know what? It works for me. And Litecoin versus Tron. I don't think anyone cares about this too much, the exact cross together, but it looks like Litecoin might be ready to overperform it, as we have a very interesting daily pattern on here. It's already been doing amazing from the start of the year in overperforming Tron all year long. So it just looks like it's not going to be finished yet. We have this level of resistance here at about 4,300. High 40, about 44, which is obviously above it now, which was placed in June the 11th. And Tron did well for a bit. A couple support tests in the 3400 area, three of them really, and good volatility for trading, like 3400 up to like 3900, 4000. Just good, I guess, because that's like 15%. But I do see after this resistance test here on August the 1st, how it's correcting within the 18. I'm seeing excitation right now of the 18. But just this pattern as it is for this in here, to me, looks as if it's ready to break out for another leg higher. But now if I talk about, say, how about Litecoin against Bitcoin Cash? And I drew these lines in like way back at the end of June or July, started July. Well, I started July because that's when I got this the pro package on TradingView, so I can even look at these crosses. So if there's any crosses you want to see, let me know because there's a good chance you're not going to be able to see it on here. And I can let me know. I can put it up on one of the videos, or one you might just even ones you're curious about, ones you're trading yourself, just situations like that. But it obviously broke this symmetrical triangle to the upside, and it had a good battle within it for quite some time. And we can see how it managed to get above it at 3.58. Well, for me, what this means, it's been like four trades in a row, three or four trades in a row where I've sold Bitcoin Cash to accumulate Litecoin. My last trade was like 393. So this goes up another like four and a quarter. I'm going to be looking to sell some more Bitcoin Cash and acquire that of Litecoin. But even as it looks in here, just what's happened from this large move. This is the last day I traded. It was August the 13 in here. It's been holding and just staying within it really well. As we take a look at this on, say, a shorter term time frame, once it loads, a 3 hour. Okay, breaking out above the 18, very like twice it broke out above it. Once at the 1400-hour mark, sideways move to get to it again, a correction through time. And then when it finished the correction through time on August the 13th at around 5, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, huge leg higher up to, where we are at 420. And then correctionary move very well within the 18, coming down the lows in here, and then getting up to the highs, consolidating pretty much at the closes. But now after this move at 2 o'clock in the morning, what's been going on in here? I like how it's holding in there. To me, it looks like it's going to be ready to break above this resistance. Thus, I'm thinking Litecoin's going to really overperform Tron, but Bitcoin Cash is really going to perform Litecoin. So just out of curiosity, and I haven't seen this chart yet, let's take a look at both of them. And I get most data if I go Huobi to get for Bitcoin Cash. And let's take a look at this against Tron. And in this case, we can, no surprise that this is also showing a breakout pattern as well. And just a huge, huge rally for Bitcoin Cash getting out above here. But this is a ratio that has went from about 4,000 and has went up over four times right now to 18. And it's still in this retracement mode. Holy crap. Well, I was going to say it's still in this retracement mode from around this 30,000 high. Oh, but it goes even higher than that. 750,000 down to 4,000. Now back up to 18,000. That's just the volatility that is available within the crypto space. Obviously, higher risk, higher reward when you compare it to things like precious metals. And I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this video and have yourself a magnificent weekend. Bye bye.